surveillance showed her walking into the hallway, even though she had already been pronounced dead. In 2016, on the outskirts of Bristol, England, stood an abandoned wing of the old Ravenwood Hospital. The building had been partially shut down years earlier after a fire damaged the east section, but a few wards were renovated and kept operational. Emily Carter, a 27-year-old night nurse, had worked there for 2 years. She was calm, rational, hardworking, not the type to believe in ghost stories the older staff whispered about. But everything changed the night she took her last shift. It was a quiet winter evening. Snow fell softly outside the tall windows, and the hallways were unusually silent. Emily was assigned to Ward C, the oldest part of the building still in use. Only 4 patients were admitted there, all elderly and stable. Easy shift, she thought. At 2:13 a.m., the alarms beeped. Room 12. Patient, Margaret Doyle. Heart rate, 0. Emily rushed to the room with Dr. Harrison. Margaret, an 83-year-old woman, had been completely stable earlier. Now she lay lifeless, her face strangely calm, almost peaceful. They tried to resuscitate her for 8 minutes, but she was gone. Time of death, 2:21 a.m. The body was moved to the cold room in the basement wing, the same wing the staff avoided at night. Emily volunteered to do the paperwork and finish the handover. She didn't believe in superstitions. But 10 minutes later, something happened that defied logic. The hallway motion sensor lights outside room 12 turned on, even though it was empty. Then the nurse station phone rang. The caller ID flashed. Room 12. Emily froze. The room was empty. The patient was dead. Still, she answered. "Hello?" she said, voice shaking. There was no reply, just the faint sound of breathing, slow, heavy, and unmistakably female. She hung up immediately. Trying to calm herself, she checked the patient log system. Her hands began to tremble. Room 12, fall alert, patient exited bed. Impossible. Emily grabbed her flashlight and walked toward the room. The hallway felt colder, almost icy. When she reached the door, she noticed something unbelievable. The bed was disturbed. The blanket was pulled halfway off, as if someone had just stood up. Then she saw the footprints on the floor, faint, wet, and leading out of the room. She followed them, heart pounding. They led toward the elevator that went down to the old basement, the one where Margaret's body had been taken minutes ago. The elevator doors were partly open. A soft ding echoed in the silent hallway. Against every instinct, Emily stepped inside. As the doors closed, the temperature dropped sharply. Her breath turned white in the air. The elevator creaked down, stopping at the basement level, a place lit only by a flickering yellow bulb. It smelled of damp paper and disinfectant. The morgue door was wide open. Inside, the metal drawers gleamed coldly, but the one holding Margaret's body was empty. Emily stepped back in horror. Her flashlight shook in her hand. Then she heard it, the slow, dragging shuffle of feet behind her. She turned. Standing at the end of the hallway was Margaret Doyle, pale, motionless, hospital gown swaying slightly. Her eyes were open, lifeless, yet fixed on Emily. "Mrs. Doyle?" Emily whispered. The old woman raised a trembling hand and pointed behind Emily. Emily turned and saw the CCTV monitor. The screen showed the live feed of Ward C. Room 12's door was open, and inside the room, Margaret was sitting upright in her bed. Impossible! Emily gasped. She looked back at the hallway. Margaret's figure was gone. Panic surged through her. She ran back into the elevator and desperately pressed the button. The doors closed just as a cold hand brushed the metal from outside. When she returned to Ward C, she found Dr. Harrison waiting, confused. "Emily, I've been calling you for 20 minutes. Are you all right?" Before she could speak, the nurse station phone rang again. Caller ID, basement wing, cold room. Dr. Harrison answered, his face drained of color. There's no one speaking," just breathing. The next morning, the security team reviewed the CCTV footage. At 2:39 a.m., the footage showed something that should have been impossible. Margaret Doyle, declared dead at 2:21 a.m., was seen walking calmly down the hallway, heading toward the basement. No signs of struggle, no jerky movement, just walking. But the creepiest part wasn't that. The motion sensor logs showed two people walking together. One was Margaret, and the second was listed as unknown, no heat signature. Emily quit that morning. She never returned to Ravenwood Hospital again. A month after the incident, Ward C and the basement wing were permanently shut down. The hospital publicly blamed electrical failures and safety hazards, but the staff still whisper about Margaret Doyle. Some say the hallway lights outside room 12 still turn on at 2:13 a.m. Others say they hear the nurse station phone ring, with the same slow, heavy breathing. And sometimes, just sometimes, CCTV catches a glimpse of a woman in a hospital gown wandering the dark corridors, even though she's been dead for years.